Hello everyone and welcome to a different type of video. So Friday is Leisure Friday, so I usually like to have a leisure video where I just talk, have some gameplay in the background, and just talk about a topic that I wanted to basically dissect. And so the topic I decided to do today, instead of doing kind of a recap of other career modes I've been playing, Master Leagues I've been playing, I want to do a topic of why do I play sports games. So for me personally, I think from the outside, it can be seen that sports games are a money-hungry, worthless genre that really majority of people that don't play sports and are only video game enthusiasts might see, and this is very stereotypical, but might see sports games as just, why play them? Just go play real sports. Like, why play this? But for me, it's very different. I played football, soccer for my entire life since I was 4 to now in my 20s. And for me, when I first got into playing video games, I didn't even know sports games existed. The only sports games I knew, I will say, okay, the only sports games I knew that existed were, I think, NBA Live, maybe 2K, NBA 2K, so basketball related games, and then the NCAA football games and Madden football games. But those were the only ones that I had known, and that was during the PS2 era. And then when I was in the first sports games I played, were not even in my sport. They were NCAA football 12, 13, 14, so the golden age for football, college football, American football games. I played those, and mainly, most of the time, I didn't even play the franchise or the Master League / career mode, manager mode type thingy. For every single audience member that would know what that is, I played mainly just play now with current college football teams. My college football team is Kansas State Wildcats, so I play with them. And I'd play with my family and friends every Christmas, and that was my memories of sports video games, was playing those. And so then in 2014, right after the World Cup, into my high school years, I managed to have the opportunity to, like, I was just going to Target, and I always tend to get a game when I go to Target, and I was with my dad, and I was with my father, and I asked, like, you gonna get a game? He said, yeah. So then we looked around, and I saw they had Last of Us, so I got Last of Us. It's a popular PlayStation title. And then I got FIFA World Cup 2014. And that was the first ever football game / soccer game I ever played was that game. And I was just blown away by it. I had never had the opportunity to do that, and it was fun. It was amazing. And then shortly after, in that fall, so this was August, I got that game. Then the fall, I managed to get a PlayStation 5 or 4. 5 doesn't come a long time ago in that. But yeah, I got a PlayStation 4. And then I got FIFA 15 was the first thing I wanted to get, so I got FIFA 15. And I played that nonstop. And that was my introduction, was that. And I had people that I knew that watched the Premier League, so I started watching that a little bit that year. And I started supporting Man United because of their youth-focused club. But that's off topic, but that's how I got into sports games. So why did I stay with it instead of just, oh, it's kind of like a novelty, you get to play teams every once in a while, but why did I enjoy it? And for one, I was always focused on trying to be better with playing and be the best player I could be. And I know it's stupid, but for me, sports games allowed me an atmosphere where I could, like, practice doing what I should be on the field. Like, I'm opening my body up, I'm playing that ball virtually, and I'm kind of simulating what I should be doing in real life. And I thought about it that way when I would play manager mode, I was like, why am I not doing well? Why am I not being able to break this down this team? Now, there's always a FIFA tactics where certain tactics work better than others, but I tried to apply a realistic atmosphere to it. And so I would say I did like manager mode, career mode, and majority of the time, player career mode, majority of the time. Ultimate Team, I did a little bit, playing with players, getting to know players, and then as I got to know players, I watched them in real life and enjoyed them even more. And because of that, Wayne Rooney became my favorite player of all time. Because of that, and watching his goal against Tottenham, the KO goal. But the biggest thing that I think sports games provides for people that have a love for sports is it gives us the opportunity to manage teams how we would want to manage them, to create storylines in a world that's artificial, but still we cultivate. Like I had in FIFA 16, I had a career mode with Queen's Park Rangers, where they're in the championship, and I took them all the way up to the Premier League and won the Premier League. And it was really difficult. And I had players like, I think John Stones, Virgil van Dijk, all before they had grown. And it was interesting because like years later, they all became really great players and they were playing for big teams. And like it was cool because I had a connection to them through the game. And it let me see their talents in the game, even if it wasn't a direct reflection of what they would become. But still, sports games, one, allows us the opportunity to make artificial and virtual environments and make legacies within the sport that then makes us have connections to the clubs in real life, as well as adding tactics in real life that you can cultivate in the game. That's why I've talked about the player career mode being so important to me, and I want to play more of it this season because I am injured and recovering from that. Hopefully I can recover from that. So that's why I have been wanting to play more of player career mode, and it's been a more important and impactful thing to me because it's literally the only way I can physically play the game right now is through a virtual modality in FIFA or PES. And then I think one of the biggest things that FIFA misses that 2K has, that NBA 2K has, and is even knocked out of the park this year in 2K23, if you ever follow them, is the history. In basketball, at least in the National Basketball Association, they revere their history within the leagues. So you have teams routinely having jerseys hung in the rafters. You hear all about these old players like Elgin Baylor, Bill Russell, players from the 60s, and then you have 70s, 80s. Michael Jordan obviously is the biggest iconic player in the 90s and mid to late 80s. So you always hear these constant players, and you get to play with them within the game. And this year they added the opportunity for you to play in different game modes all the way back to different eras in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and then 2010s. And it's amazing to me and remarkable because I would die for that. Not literally, but I would be so happy and joyous if FIFA would do something like that. I'd be even happier and ecstatic if PES could do something because they have the opportunity to do it. They didn't find it. But yeah, if you had the chance to, starting with the baby steps, but like how 2K did, they started with, okay, in 2K23, they have full league teams. They don't have every player, but they have a majority of the biggest players, and they have the rosters from like the 1983 season, and they have ability for people to create the rosters and put them in. Amazing. And then what if FIFA just had the bare minimum that 2K11 had, where you had classic teams such as Brazil 58, you had Man United 68 when they won the Champions League for the first year ever. You had the Busby Babes in 1958 before they passed away. That would be an integral team to be able to play with, especially with the ratings as they were. Those are all United teams, but then if you have like the late Chelsea teams that were iconic with Gianfranco Zola, Frank Rijkaard, like 98, 97-ish. You have Arsenal during the Invincibles era. You could have all going on and on. Barcelona during the Dream Team era. You could have Johan Cruyff. and Michael's the coach for the total football team. All of that would be amazing, and have it with career era correct pitches, era correct stadiums, or at least era correct uniforms, and then balls with it too. And then rules too would be amazing as well, because the rules were different, and be able to like pass back to the goalkeeper would be so cool to me as a historian for sports. But that's the thing I know FIFA will never implement, because they don't want to put the extra money into it, and it's not an art form to them. But if I had the opportunity to make a football game, it would be that. It would be a love letter to the sport, because it should be. And despite 2K's problems about money grabbing for their My Career section and all of those things with their My Team and microtransactions, they still create a product. They create a product that is viable and amazing to play in an offline format. And that's the thing that takes away from FIFA, because even if you wanted to make classic rosters, like, hey, I want to make a Brazil 1958 team, I've tried it many times since FIFA 17 when they added the composure stat. You're unable to transition the composure stat at all. You're unable to change the composure stat, which dictates if players are around him how composed he'll be, and if he'll miss opportunities. Even if you put it on target, he may miss them. It's a degree of that variability that dictates whether he'll be a good player or not. If he has 99 composure but 50 shooting, he'll still hit it where you wanted to hit it. Whereas if he has 99 shooting and 0 composure, he may hit it skyward or anywhere in between. And it's just frustrating. The other thing is they have, as far as I know of, since I started trying on FIFA 18, they have a 30 player cap. So you realistically could only make probably, if you wanted to only do 11s, and if they're really classic where none of their players are in the current game for the play now career mode, for just kickoff mode, you would have to do it to where there's 11, that's 22, and then just a team of 8 current players with other current players spruced about. So it's just frustrating. And it's stupid that in 2023 we don't have a game that has near the amounts of resources that even the older FIFAs have. Hell, PES is still my favorite football game. It will always probably be my favorite football game. I hate the things that are in it with some of the fouling or some of the gameplay mechanics, but overall it is still the best gameplay experience I ever had playing a football game because of how realistic it is, and doubly how enjoyable experience it is, but also the fact that you can customize everything. Like for instance, in 2017 when I was still in high school, I created my entire high school league within PES with the correct badges, correct stadium pictures. You can't put you can't make stadiums, but you can put pictures to make them look like stadiums on the outside when you're going into the match. Like, you know how you can see, like, you remember the older FIFAs, they had the stadium picture in the middle with the lineups on the left and the right. Kind of the same idea with that. And then once you get in the game, it's just a generic stadium, but it adds to the atmosphere. You can also change the name of the stadiums, change the name of the managers. You can change the name of players, change how the players look, everything. And there's no cap on any of it. There's only cap on the amount of images you add. And you can restructure an entire league within Europe. So like how I did it was I had 14 to 18 high school level teams and added them all into it and just had fun having with my friends on that team and everything. And you can't do that in FIFA. You can't. The only thing that would even be possible nowadays would be to create a team within within manager career mode and put all your people's names on it. I don't think you can even change the look of the players though within that game mode unless you mod it, and it's not the same. But again, the reason I think from this ramble and everything I said is I played sports games to gain a greater connection to the sport when I can't be playing it. and to be able to be obsessed with the sport and still have the opportunity to enjoy it without necessarily being out there kicking a ball about during it. I was, and I still am, obsessed. It's just, it's hard when you're injured. And that can be another video in itself, but it's just hard to find the desire when it kind of makes you sad to want to find a, it's, I'm trying to find a way to say this. It's hard to obsess yourself around a sport when you can't even run and sprint for more than like 50 meters. It's just hard for me, person that I put my all into it, to still do the little things sometimes. Like, I would study games, I would play FIFA realistically how I would want it to be played in real life, and be my own manager, be my own player, play a player role that I was trying to learn in real life. I played left back, so I learned how a right-footed player played left back. It's just funny to me when I first tried to transition to the left side. And I would play with old style teams to learn more history about them, or old style players to learn about them. Like in 2K, I'd play with all the old players because that's what I enjoyed, was the history. Whether it be sport or real history, or real life history with wars and everything. And that's just, I think that's what's missed on people that aren't obsessed with the sport or sports games in genre, is the fact that you can make a storyline within it and gain a connection to your manager and your players, as well as it be almost a part of you with having the opportunity to play it when you're not actually physically able to. Because again, there was many days where I couldn't because I was just too sore or tired to be able to play. I could just play it virtually. But yeah, that's kind of why I play sports games. I play them for their history. I play them for the opportunity to do stuff I can't do in real life. I play them for trying to learn new things about the sport within that. And most of all, I play them to enjoy it, just how I enjoy the sport, and that's to have fun. Even as frustrating as it can be at sometimes, but I do play it for fun. But yeah, that's my long-winded podcast type video. There'll be a couple of games in the background, just playing out games. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please let me know if you have any other topics you'd like me to talk about. Whether they be personal, I can divulge as much as I would like to with that. Like my personal journey through sport. Or even the virtual journey with sports games, and what I think should be added to them, changed. Whatever it may be, anything sport related or anything personally related to it, just let me know. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.